Robots with artificial intelligence and computer vision can understand a task and adapt to it just like a human, and this opens up unlimited possibilities for production to expand and change the product range. You can introduce a new series of cars every month, or even produce customized cars for each individual customer. The adaptability and flexibility of robots has become a real trend in industrial robotics, leading to the emergence of startups such as Apogee. The company has created software that makes robots smarter. You simply load a 3D model of your part into the software, and then the machine vision robots can scan your physical parts, compare it to a virtual one, and immediately make it, welding and everything. No programming, completely autonomous welding requiring no robotic skills. Any shop welder can operate these robots, any type of part, any brand of robot. Advanced software gives machines superpowers, vision, task comprehension, learning, and multitasking. And the new programming methods make it possible to reconfigure the robot to a different part right during the processing of the previous one. And you can learn more about intelligent industrial robots and their programming on Abogee's YouTube channel, which we recommend to both industry professionals and those who are just looking at robots and robotics for the first time. Today there's a video of a robot welder versus a live professional, and they're judging not only speed, but quality as well. Who do you think won? To find out the answer, go to the channel at the link right here in the description. Also on the channel you can see different ways to program robots, including the company's developments based on machine vision and artificial intelligence. The theme of this year's World Conference was Intelligent Communication, the Infinite Multiverse. Because of strict measures to prevent a new round of pandemics, some of the participants were presented online or in the Metacomic-verse. Among the innovations were robots, brain-computer interfaces, augmented reality glasses, artificial intelligence chips, drones, and more. The conference was opened by virtual presenter Shen Xiaoya. There were many VR gadgets and technologies at the exhibition, including the entire spaces of meta-universes, where you could scan yourself in 3D with cameras and a special balloon and then customize your avatar according to a number of parameters. Would you like your own avatar like this? Let us know. SenseTime brought its robotic chess player to the exhibition. The bot was able to beat visitors at a game of Chinese chess. The robot masseur is now a must at every robot show. At WAIC, it was the Ryzen 4 robot arm from Shanghai-based startup Flexive. The company also brought to the show a robot for automated testing of COVID-19. The smart arm performs the entire process, from swabbing with a cotton swab to placing a sample in a test tube. Equipped with visual recognition technology and highly flexible force sensors, the mechanical arm can locate the right point to swab people of different heights, while getting it safely and conveniently. The robot can test 240 people in just 2 hours. That's pretty fast, isn't it? So, there's a robotic surgeon. The robot joint surgery system for Microport Medbot was presented at Shanghai. And by the way, this Chinese company is the only manufacturer of surgical robots in the world covering 5 main specializations: laparoscopy, orthopedics, percutaneous, and panvascular surgery in a single orifice surgery. But that's not enough for the company. It has 8 more products in the pipeline, and in general, the robotic surgeons are one of the most in-demand areas right now. Also at the exhibition, we saw a firefighter robot from Deep Robotics, which recently presented its Yuying X20 robot. It cannot put a fire out, but according to the developers, it can go into smoke-filled buildings to explore the area, find people in need, or bring firefighters extra oxygen tanks and equipment. Interestingly, the company's website doesn't say anything about the fire resistance of the robot. All we know is that its housing has an industrial-grade IP66 protection, which allows the robot to work in conditions such as heavy rain, sand, low temperatures, and hail. The robot is equipped with a panoramic camera and dual-spectrum suspension that allows it to transmit real-time images from different angles. The robot also has a thermal imager to track heat sources. The robot can step over obstacles with a height of 20 centimeters and climb up a slide with an angle of up to 35 degrees. The exhibition was not without Cloud9's technology. A pair of humanoid robots from the company entertained visitors by imitating the actors of a Chinese opera. and this was probably the most remarkable robot performance at WAIC. Another robot from the Cloud Ginger XR1 series portrayed a hotel maid. It was a pity that the demonstration of the robot's work was only on screen and in the form of graphics. It still wasn't clear whether the robot would have been able to vacuum the show floor or not. The Chinese augmented reality glasses pioneer Nreal brought the latest Nreal Air and Nreal X to the show. The new Nreal Air is said to provide the best visual display effects of any extended reality device, but at the same time only weigh 80 grams, and that design is very cool. What do you think? The Nreal X is a consumer augmented reality goggle that weighs only 106 grams. They're designed to create a fully immersive augmented reality experience through a real-time precision positioning algorithm and map construction using a pair of built-in cameras. The Chinese already have no doubt that AR will become the next generation computing platform, and more such startups are appearing in the domestic market. In general, the Chinese are very fond of virtual reality, and the largest number of users for this type of technology will be the gamers. Also on display was a robot rescuer from Zhuhai Yunzhou Intelligent Technology, which recently saved a drowning boy. The robot is autonomous, equipped with high-precision positioning and video control. The robot can be used on beaches and rivers and will swim to a drowning person faster than a lifeguard can. Also at WAIC was JD Logistics' autonomous smart delivery trucks, which have been traveling the streets of China for a long time now. Once loaded, the Level 4 autonomous robots build a route taking into account all deliveries of the address and waits for customers at each point for a certain amount of time. Apple's Vice President and Managing Director of Apple Greater China, Gi Yu, spoke at the conference about Apple's machine learning projects. According to her, they can now cover almost all aspects of the company's operations, but only cited that the Apple Watch and AirPods Pro for examples so far. Another example given was the assistive touch feature with the Apple Watch, which the company introduced last year along with the iPad gaze tracking, which should support users with disability. Assistive touch for watchOS allows users to control functions without touching the display or controls. The built-in motion sensors such as gyroscope and accelerometers, along with other optical heart rate sensors and machine learning, help the smartwatch detect subtle differences in muscle movements and tendon activity, and, for example, move the cursor across the display through a series of hand gestures such as pinching or squeezing. An interesting statement was made by Baidu CEO Robin Li. At the conference, he said that fully autonomous vehicles will develop faster than semi-autonomous vehicles and will appear on the roads sooner than people expect. And it's not about the development of technology, but the definition of responsibility in case of an accident. In the case of a driver assistance system, such as Tesla's, all the blame for an accident will fall on the driver, since he's obliged to keep his eyes on the road. In the case of fully autonomous cars, the responsibility would fall on the developer. But with semi-autonomous cars of Level 3, everything is ambiguous. On the one hand, Level 3 assumes that the car can move independently and only sometimes requires a pilot's attention. But in this case, who will be responsible for the accident? Baidu believes that this contradiction will not allow semi-autonomous cars to develop. Li is worth listening to, given that Baidu has caused a fury in the autonomous vehicle market in China by obtaining the country's first commercial license to operate a fully unmanned robot cab. The company also recently unveiled the stunning Jidu branded Robo-1 unmanned robot car at the latest fully autonomous Apollo RT6 with a removable steering wheel. Incidentally, Baidu's Apollo Go robotaxi has already taken more than 1 million trips. Ant Group, Alibaba's financial technology subsidiary, unveiled its intelligent risk management system to quickly detect and intervene in fraudulent digital transactions. One of the key features is the tiered mechanism is a 90-second alert call from the platform's AI assistant. The system can provide individual sensors by analyzing user feedback in real time during the call and complete the process if necessary. The point is that the 90-second pause should give the customer time to realize they're being scammed and cancel the transaction. Other anti-fraud innovations include a 15-minute recovery period and a 24-hour transfer delay. Shanghai company Visitai Technologies, which specializes in the development of high-performance general-purpose chips, presented its own 7nm cloud GPU at the conference. The chip combines features including rendering, artificial intelligence, video, and offers high-quality coding capabilities. The device provides optimal performance for cloud gaming, computing, and other metaverse application scenarios. Axera, another Shanghai-based chip company, has unveiled a technology you might say with an unpronounceable name called Axi-Ninzimhu. Well, you get it. It should help chips quickly improve large image quality, as well as breaking the ceiling of traditional video processing capabilities in a number of key scenarios. Other Chinese companies such as Enflame and Byron Technology also showed their new products. The latter introduced a recently released series of general-purpose graphics processor chips, which, as they say, are world-class in terms of processing power and energy efficiency. The semiconductor industry in China is now developing at an unprecedented rate, trying to close the gap with leading companies such as AMD and Nvidia. This is primarily due to sanctions imposed on China. A video of a military drone concept developed by DARPA within the Ancillary program has appeared on the web. The aim of the project is to create and demonstrate in flight the essential technologies necessary for breakthroughs in the field of vertical takeoff and landing. The requirement for the vehicles in the program is strict, low mass with a large lifting force and range. The drone must be able to take off from a ship or a small ground area in all weather conditions without special launching equipment. Ancillary is designed to combine the latest advances in compact propulsion systems, high-capacity and lightweight batteries, fuel cells, materials, electronics, and low-cost additive manufacturing. Engineers from the University of Michigan taught the robot to navigate a map. The map is printed on paper, but the route is drawn by hand. This picture is shown to the robot and it has to get to its destination on its own. In the video, Cassie looks at the map, locates it in OpenStreetMap, transforms the drawn path into the global map coordinates, identifies terrain types such as roads, lawns, and sidewalks, and then sets off to meet adventurers while avoiding obstacles. Not bad. I think it deserves some kudos in our video. Normally, robot skins are created to give a certain aesthetic to humanoid hardware and sometimes for functionality. But the University of Hong Kong's Robotic and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory has given it an entirely different meaning. Engineers have developed an invisible skin for industrial manipulators that helps them sense approaching humans and foreign objects so they can stop in time to avoid hurting anyone. Preventing collisions is a complex task, and usually requiring a large number of sensors on the surface of the manipulator and computing power. A new invention embedded in a robot arm can cover a large area without multiple sensors. The technology relies on 5 non-contact capacity sensors and specially designed antennas. It can be installed on any arm, and in my opinion, it's a very useful invention. Tesla once again is suing for the rights to call its cars unmanned. Only recently ended with a court victory for Elon Musk, initiated by the German antitrust agency, as a similar lawsuit was filed by the California Department of Motor Vehicles. The essence of the charge is false and misleading names. Since Tesla auto owners are required by regulation to control the movement of their vehicle, it's misleading to use the terms autopilot and self-driving in reference to their vehicle assistance type. If Tesla loses this case, it could lose its license for unmanned features. And at least it will have to tell users more convincingly about the system's real capabilities so they don't fall asleep at the wheel. In 1977, 45 years ago, NASA launched 2 Voyager probes in August and September, which became the agency's longest-running mission and the only spacecraft to ever explore interstellar space. In the 2 decades since the launch, the probes have explored the planets of the solar system, giving us close views of the gas giants Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Now that they've reached distances scientists couldn't even think of, keeping them running is much more difficult. Voyager 1 is now about 23.5 billion kilometers away, and engineers were recently able to fix it. Since May of this year, the probe has been sending garbled information from its altitude control system, which provides the direction of the antenna to Earth. By switching the way it sends data from Voyager 1, the problem has now been fixed. And while all is not quite well on Voyager 2 either, the two space travelers continue to record and analyze the strange and surprising events they're experiencing in the incredible depths of space. We're expected to be hearing from them years from now. The Robotics Pro channel has been following the Voyager's flight, and we did an in-depth issue on how they managed to build vehicles that are still working today back in the 1970s, and you can find that episode right here in the link. Engineers at Createch Labs in Canada taught a drone to land on roofs with a 60-degree angle from the summer. Friction shock absorbers and the use of reversible thrust helped the drone to not only bounce but flip. And this despite the fact that the drone practically did not reduce speed and landed at almost 3 meters per second. The chassis with DC micro motors was designed based on data modeling and printed on a 3D printer. The shock absorbers slow down the drone's aerodynamics enough to successfully reverse thrust, and they also promote constant contact between the drone's legs and the ground. This ability can be used for reloading surveillance or emergency landings. In the future, the team is going to teach the drone to land on boats during a storm, icebergs, and fast-moving vehicles. The latter, though, has long been done. Researchers from Riken showed the remote-controlled cockroach cyborgs that are now powered by solar energy. The Riken cyborgs are equipped with an electronic unit that includes lithium polymer batteries, a wireless receiver, and a module that controls the insect's legs, housed in a 3D printed backpack. The researchers connected the unit to an organic solar cell module mounted on the roach's belly. This ultra-thin film was only 0.004 of a millimeter thick, making them light enough for the insects to carry. The solar cells charge for 30 minutes, and after which they provide 2 hours of operation and for electronics. This is already quite applicable to real-world tasks, such as searching for people in buildings destroyed by the elements. The creators of Ameca Robot keep adding new features to the robot. Recently, they taught it to copy human facial expressions, and now it can communicate using GPT-3, a natural language processing algorithm from OpenAI. But now Ameca can generate meaningful responses, and by synchronizing its lip movements with the words it utters. But so far, the robot reacts slightly slowed down, and engineers say that this is a time lag for processing speech input, generating a response, and reverse conversation of the text-to-speech. We all remember that at CES 2022, Ameca communicated with visitors, which greatly impressed everyone, but then it was a simulation of speech, as the answers were given by the engineer behind the scenes. But what should we expect next from engineering arts engineers? Well, maybe they'll teach him to cuss or drink. What abilities do you expect from Ameca? Let us know down below. Nanyang Technological University has unveiled a robot that chases people to keep them from falling. The prototype Mobile Robotics Balance Assistance, or MRBA, device consists of a wheeled base and battery, as well as a soft trap that fits over the user's hips. As the user moves, the MBRA follows him and records his movement with a depth-sensing camera and other sensors. If the robot reads control movements that lead to a loss of balance, it stops and holds the person down. The robot also identifies intentional movements, such as those associated with sitting, standing, and standing still. In all cases, it helps according to the task at hand. The machine will come in handy in rehabilitation facilities and just elderly people with disabilities. Korean engineer Dongwon Song shared on YouTube a video of the work he did for Samsung Research. The robot can not only recognize and sort objects, but also by trial and error can learn to pick up objects of different shapes. A very useful invention for creative people and parents with many children, don't you agree? And after all, a completely useless robot, or even a little harmful if you eat it whole. The founder of pastry schools in Las Vegas, Amaury Guichon, decided to keep up with the robot trend and made a manipulator more than a meter high entirely out of chocolate. Hey, give this video a like if you enjoyed today's episode. Subscribe to the channel and our Instagram page. And don't forget to turn on notifications. Elon Musk spoke about his plans until the end of the year. For example, Tesla is to launch mass production of unmanned cars, and SpaceX is to launch the Starship into orbit. In more detail, the full self-driving capability package in Tesla cars today, although available, requires constant control from the driver. But Musk, on the other hand, wants to launch a fully autonomous car that does not need a human driver. The technical side will not be enough here, and there needs to be permissions from state regulators. As for Starship, the rocket has received a launch permit which is valid for 6 months starting in September. As soon as SpaceX decides the vehicle is ready, we can wait for the long-awaited launch. By the way, Tesla owners love their cars so much that they implant their car keys under their skin. At least that's what Brandon Delali did, implanting a VivoKey Apex chip into his hand. It's an upgraded contactless NFC chip that supports Java card software, which secures communication between the key and the electric car. Delali wrote on Twitter that the chip could not be paired to any Tesla that uses a contactless card and could perform other functions, such as storing data or accessing cryptocurrencies, and could eventually be used for credit card transactions. Samsung showed how robots manufacture and test the company's innovative Galaxy Z Flip 3 and Z Fold 3 foldable phones. The smartphones aren't just foldable, but also feature serious water resistance with an IPX8 rating. The video basically shows the assembly of the Fold 4, starting when its back cover is pressed into place. Then all sorts of tests of the device begin, from the camera and wireless charging to the buttons and folding screens. The smartphones also go through several stages of water resistance testing, and robots are ruthless when it comes to folding. But we think it won't be so easy to withstand real use in the hands of a human, especially a teenager. The Amica robot from British startup Engineered Arts has received another update that allows it to mimic human facial expressions in real time. The iPhone 12 captured a volunteer's facial expression with Apple's AR kit, and Amica's robot copied every expression, or so it tried. By the way, what do you think of the robot? Do you like it, or is it gross? Let us know down below. In our opinion, Amica looks aloof and a little cold, as the future boss of leather bags is supposed to be, if things go the way they do in the story coming up. Chinese mobile game developer NetDragon Websoft has appointed a robot, or rather a virtual assistant with artificial intelligence, Tang Yu, as CEO of its flagship subsidiary, Fujian NetDragon Websoft. The company believes that the use of artificial intelligence in corporate management will make operations easier and more efficient. Tang Yu will be both a real-time data center and an analytical system that evaluates the rationality of decisions and the level of risk. In addition, the first virtual CEO is expected to play a crucial role in talent development and provide a fair and efficient workplace for all employees. What do you think of this development? Let us know below. The US startup Rice Aerotech revealed the first manned flight of its Recon eVTOL, which can be flown without a pilot's license. The electric single-seat multi-copter can fly with one pilot weighing up to 90 kilograms for about 25 minutes. The maximum flight speed is 93 kilometers per hour and the cruising speed is just above 65 kilometers per hour. The maximum flight altitude is 213 meters above the ground, but according to the developers, operating the Recon eVTOL is very easy. The vehicle has a pair of joysticks and a flight control module with obstacle detection and evasion technology. And I gotta say, I kinda wanna get one of these. What about you? DJI has introduced the maneuverable Avata drone for racing at almost 100 kilometers per hour, as well as stunning movie and video footage. In short, the Avata is 48 megapixels, 4K at 60 frames per second video recording, and 18 minutes of flight time at up to 5 kilometers of altitude for just $630. True, this is without the controller and goggles, which are not included in the basic package, as the drone is compatible with the controls of other models that the user may already have. The Avata weighs 410 grams and can range up to 11.5 kilometers from the user and sees the world at 155 degrees. The drone has stabilization, including camera suspension, as well as 20 gigs of internal storage, plus micro SD card slots for up to 256 gigabytes of storage. Researchers at the University of Washington and the Applied Physics Laboratory showed the results of their developments under the DARPA Robotic Autonomy in Complex Environments with Resiliency, or RACER for short. The idea is to create an off-road autonomous driving system that would not need GPS or pre-installed maps to determine the location. Vehicles would have to build routes by getting information only from onboard sensors and using calculations. The results are already looking pretty convincing. According to media reports, China has successfully tested a 1 MW nuclear reactor for spacecraft. The Chinese Academy of Sciences is involved in the development of this reactor, and experts from China's Ministry of Science and Technology have already inspected it. But let's remember, the country is now actively bursting to explore space, and the developments in this direction are well financed, up to the creation of a national space station. A Starship powered by a nuclear reactor could help China start exploring other planets in the solar system. It's a pity that the Chinese side does not disclose details about the tests that took place or the technical specs of the nuclear power plant. Tesla launched a virtual power plant in Japan with more than 300 Powerwall home batteries, which the company quietly equipped houses in Miyako Island. It became the largest privately owned virtual power plant in the country. The idea is that all battery owners can transfer excess power to the local power grid in case of outages. Miyako Island regularly experiences power outages due to typhoons. The local power company installs solar panels for free of charge for the residents so people are not deprived of light during natural disasters. The energy company is now working with Tesla and plans to install about 1,300 batteries by the end of 2023, and then expand the project to nearby islands. Engineers created the Mi-Gri bot, a miniature parallel robotic gripper for high-performance micro-manipulation that is also very fast. Typical micro-manipulation speeds using micropipettes are barely exceeding 1 operation per second, and that's too slow to create a robotic micro-manipulation production. The new robot can perform 10 cycles of picking and placing micron-sized objects per second with an accuracy of 1 micrometer. This is a serious bid for success. Meet Dragon, the weirdest drone you've ever seen. We've shown you various drones with arms before, but turning the drone itself into a manipulator is the wildest one we've seen yet. It consists of 4 pairs of suspended fans, each connected by a 2-axis hinge, making it incredibly flexible in flight. It literally has more degrees of freedom than you can engage in useful applications. It's not because you don't have enough imagination, although there is that factor too. It's because it's hard to make it do anything useful in a stable and reliable way. Dragon can transform itself to pass through small spaces or manipulate objects. It weighs over 75 kilograms and can lift almost 3.5 kilograms. At the same time, with the turn of a valve, for example, it's not made by a drive, but by the thrust of the mushroom propeller. However, this miracle can only fly for 3 minutes, so creators plan to teach it to walk on the ground to save energy. Intel Labs, in collaboration with the Italian Institute of Technology and Munich Technical University, decided to teach a robot everything like a child, using neuromorphic computing. When children learn a new object, they can twirl it in their hands, ask it what it is, and then recognize it and similar things under different conditions. The team developed models that was able to successfully demonstrate continuous interactive robot learning on the neuromorphic research chip. But what's this advantage? The chip consumes much less power than a conventional processor, demonstrating the same speed and accuracy using neuromorphic computing that mimics human brain cells while expanding the capabilities of robotic assistants, making them more flexible and capable of adapting to unforeseen conditions. And so far, the research is in its early stages, but we'll keep an eye on the results. The European Space Agency has shared the results of the first test of the latest robotic space manipulator installed on the Russian ISS's Nauka module. The robotic arm successfully separated the payload, a single-pin latch and its adapter from the Nauka module, moved it to the other side of the module, and then returned it to its original position. The test load was the size of a small suitcase, but the 11-meter-long manipulator structure could maneuver a load of up to 8 tons with an accuracy of 5 millimeters. Literally walking on the surface of the Russian segments of the orbital complex. The entire operation took about 6 hours, and after which, the European robot arm went into hibernation mode. Now the robotic arm will be tested to the limits. Airseed Technologies and Cal International will plant 100 million trees using drones. Air-sea drones use artificial intelligence and data to control payloads and a delivery system that identifies and targets areas with GPS coordinates. The air-seed team carefully selects sites for planting, taking into account what plant species are already growing in the area. The drone drops carbon pods designed specifically for soil in which it will be planted to give the trees the best chance to grow. The pod also protects the seeds from aggressive elements such as insects, rodents, and birds during the germination cycle. And when it rains, the carbon begins to absorb water, allowing the seeds to germinate. Air-seed drones take off autonomously and follow a pre-programmed flight plan, dropping the exact number of carbon capsules at a rate of 2 capsules per second. Before landing, the drone follows a pre-programmed landing pattern. With a 2-person crew, air-seed drones can land 40,000 pods a day, and the company's goal is to plant 100 million trees by 2024. A major logistics company, NFI, has purchased $10 million worth of Stretch robots from Boston Dynamics. Stretch will initially unload trucks and containers as a pilot program at NFI's Savannah, Georgia facility in 2023 before deploying in other facilities. The Stretch runs more than a full shift without recharging or up to 16 hours with a high-capacity battery. With its powerful vacuum gripper and advanced vision system, the robot handles a variety of package types weighing up to 22.5 kilograms, requiring no pre-programming or box size information, and can autonomously retrieve any packages that shift or fall during unloading. Interestingly enough, Stretch is sold out for installation in 2022, but Boston Dynamics has a number of first-time customers, including DHL, Gap, H&M, and others. The company said it chose the Boston Dynamics robot because it's fast, flexible, and can be adapted to different tasks in the future. The company Canvas showed what a robot should actually do, namely, a very boring, dirty, monotonous, but precision work. And judging by the video, this robot does it very well. Subscribe to the Pro Robot channel, like this video, and don't miss any new episodes from the world of high tech. Elon Musk showed an almost working prototype of the Optimus robot at Tesla AI Day. The presentation began with a test version made of off-the-shelf Bumblebee components, and then Optimus itself appeared on the stage, the appearance and design of which is close to the final production model. But exactly how the Tesla Universal Humanoid is built and what it can do today, see a video summarizing all the Tesla AI Day announcements at the link in the description below. The idea of a humanoid robot has captured not only Elon Musk, but also one of the founders of the flying car startup Archer. They decided to create a universal humanoid robot. For this, he founded another startup, Figure, whose activities today are completely hidden from public view. However, journalists of TechCrunch managed to see a presentation of the robot showing only a rendering so far. The system looks more like the robot Tesla is developing than a massive Atlas from Boston Dynamics. The smaller and thinner frame, still human-sized but shorter, will be powered by electricity rather than the hydraulics that power other robotic systems. The founder has also allocated $100 million for development. The German startup Neuro Robotics has succumbed to the temptation and decided to either create or attract attention by introducing another Tesla-style humanoid robot. The 4NE1 robot promises to be a universal helper and loyal friend to its future masters, but so far it exists mainly in the form of graphics. Although at the end of the video the company intrigues us with a real prototype. Do you think we'll ever see this robot, or is this just another attempt to get some high valuation in the news from Elon Musk? Let us know down below in the comments. Cassie's robot from Agility Robotics set a Guinness World Record as the fastest 100-meter run by a two-legged robot. Cassie averaged just over 4 meters per second and covered 100 meters in 24.73 seconds. However, the robot has a lot to aspire to still. Its biological prototype, the Ostrich, can cover 100 meters in just 5 seconds. It's not an autonomous run, as this version of Cassie has no external sensors and was remotely controlled by a human. But with that said, the sprint required additional training from the engineers in the form of gait optimization in the simulation. And according to the researchers, one of the most difficult tasks was actually getting Cassie to accelerate out of the seat and then slow down to a stop at the other end without falling. Volkswagen showed a functional concept of the fully autonomous robot car of the future, Gen Travel. The 4-seat concept car with 4 gull-wing doors is something between a sedan and a minivan. It's designed for long journeys and intended to compete with short-haul airlines. Gen Travel has a unique modular seating system in the cabin. If used for business travel, the 4 seats can be arranged around a central table, and on overnight moves, the 2 seats can be folded down flat into beds. In this configuration, the automatic lighting system will trigger the production of melatonin, which helps you fall asleep and wake up rested. Finally, for family trips, the front seats are equipped with an augmented reality system. It's interesting that in any mode, even when the passengers are laying down, an innovative system of passive safety is responsible for their life and health, and that eABC system provides additional comfort. It calculates in advance vertical and lateral body movements as a result of acceleration, braking, and turning, and in return, it optimizes the trajectory and driving style. In addition, there's a caravan driving system that allows autonomous cars to drive in a group. It will help reduce energy consumption by reducing air resistance. What do you think of this car? For the first time, NASA tried to change the trajectory of an asteroid. To do this, the agency smashed a kamikaze probe into the asteroid Dimorph, 160 meters in diameter. The space probe, launched in November 2021, approached its victim at 6.5 kilometers per second, photographed it, and crashed into it in an attempt to change the trajectory. Dimorph does not pose any threat to Earth. It's just a test by NASA, which expects to protect our planet from large meteorites in this method. The asteroid is about 11 million kilometers from Earth, and we will know about the success or failure of the mission in only a couple of weeks. Meta's machine learning experts presented the Make a Video algorithm capable of turning text into video. It's enough to enter a description of the scene in a few words, and the artificial intelligence generates a short video corresponding to the text. Make a Video learns from pairs of images and captions as well as unlabeled videos, which are represented by millions of videos. While the objects look blurry and surreal, their movements are blurred. Still, the technology's prospects for content creators are incredible. On the other hand, there's a danger of using the algorithm for deepfakes and misinformation. Maybe that's why the company doesn't say whether or when this technology will be available to the public. Nala Robotics has launched a fast food robot that says it can fry chicken wings, fries, and other foods on its own, season them, and serve them on plates. It's called the Wingman, and it's available for rent for $3,000 a month. At $22 an hour, the Wingman will save employers 75% of their wages if they work 18 hours a day for an average of 30 days a month. According to the developers, the robot with artificial intelligence and computer vision systems can cook several different dishes simultaneously, taking food out of storage, breading the chicken, salting potatoes, and performing all the necessary tasks. Oh, and while we're on the topic, if you have a fast food job, it's not looking good for the future. Scientists have created a liquid robot that can separate and assemble from several parts to penetrate the narrow passages inside the human body and deliver drugs to a specific organ. The microbot, made from a suspension of iron oxide and hydrocarbon oil, is controlled by spherical rotating magnets. The demonstration looks impressive. In general, scientists from all over the world have recently presented many developments in the field of microbotics, and we can expect this implementation in the near future. Do you agree with this type of technology? Let us know down below. The Florida-based company Dorani has opened pre-orders for its single-seat vertical takeoff and landing electric plane with the design and capabilities of a race car. Characteristically, there's no full-size working prototype yet, but flying cars are real in the mainstream right now, and we talked about existing models in detail, and you can see that video right here in the link in the tip. But here at Dorani, they decided to hype it up, having on hand and rendering some smaller models and promising at the same time the first deliveries by just 2024. The technology for flying cars is developing, and the further it goes, the easier it will be for developers. Electric Dorani H1 is a one-seat cabin placed between wide wings with propellers inside them. It's reported that it will be able to reach a maximum speed of 225 km per hour with a cruising speed of 160 km per hour. It has a cruising range of almost 100 kilometers, and the mass of the vehicle is 650 kilograms with a payload at 200 kilograms. Antibiotics finally started selling four-legged robots Animal X to everyone. The company said it's already collected 500 pre-orders and it will begin shipping the robot by mid-2023. Animal X is designed and certified for use in hazardous and potentially explosive environments for areas like oil, gas, and chemical plants. Like Spot, the robot will conduct automated inspections of rooms, equipments, and sensors. And with that said, Animal X cost almost twice the starting price of Spot, as much as $150,000. Amazon released updates to its $1,000 Astro Home robot, launched a year ago and received by some customers without much enthusiasm. The robot has learned how to make observations, detect pets, but most importantly, the manufacturers prepared an SDK which third-party developers can add new features to the machine. Perhaps now the robot will be given a second chance. It can work as a security guard, checking doors and windows, will send you cute videos of your pets while you're gone, and become really useful thanks to useful software. Though still to be developed by engineers at American universities, and for now, Amazon will entrust the SDK only to them. The developers of iCognito have created an artificial intelligence that can detect psychological conditions and disorders based on chat messages. The algorithm is trained on more than 50 million users and messages. Through the chatbot, the AI will not only be able to identify your mood and condition, but also make recommendations on how to manage them. Do you believe in the success of these type of algorithms? Let us know in the comments. Researchers from the UK and Switzerland have unveiled an airborne additive manufacturing system that can autonomously print buildings and structures. The 3D printing fleet consists of two types of quadcopters, build drones, which apply materials in layers from nozzles, and scan drones, which use standard optical cameras to continuously display structures in 3D and control their quality. The drones work together from a single drawing, adapting to changes in structural geometry and in real time as the construction progresses. And the work is not as slow as the video might suggest. In the experiments, the drones were able to make a 72-layer cylinder of polyurethane insulating foam 2 meters high and 30 centimeters wide in just 29 minutes. The production accuracy was within 5 millimeters, and the system operates autonomously and it can be scaled to print large structures in hard-to-reach areas. The startup Kintaro Robotics introduced a system for intuitive remote robot control. It aims to provide access to robots from anywhere in the world, and it was developed with the support of NASA and the U.S. National Science Foundation. The developers said that their approach uses various artificial intelligence technologies and allows human operators to help in situations where artificial intelligence does not work. At the same time, the AI learns while interacting with humans, improving its automation capabilities over time. The space startup Get AI showed a ground test of its S2 space debris removal robot. During the demonstration, the robot picked up tools and simulated various tasks to assemble and maintain instruments in orbit. This is the second generation of the startup's robot, designed to automate internal and external tasks on space stations, in-orbit maintenance, and lunar-based development. The robot is semi-autonomous, and that means it combines telecontrol with its own artificial intelligence to help interpret and execute human commands correctly. Researchers from MIT's Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory, in collaboration with the Toyota Research Institute, have developed a system that can use human tools just as well as, well, humans. It's worth saying that the use of improvised tools is a hallmark of human intelligence. It's difficult for a robot not to just pick up a tool, but also calculate the necessary force to work with it. And now, it seems that scientists have been able to solve this problem. At least in the demonstration, the robot successfully coped with both squeezing liquid from tubes and writing words with a pen. The Huzhou Research Institute of Zhejiang University in China has assembled a team of robots to conduct research missions in the unexplored underground environments of the Yellow Dragon Cave. The program targets both terrestrial subterranean areas that could be useful for humans and help to explore subterranean spaces on other planets. The researchers took Deep Robotics' RoboPass as a four-legged platform. Remember that China has big ambitions in space exploration, and it's rapidly catching up with NASA and ESA, if not by the number, then by the enormity of the plans and missions, including the construction of a national space station and the exploration of the Moon and Mars. Northrop Grumman unveiled a manta ray underwater drone commissioned by DARPA. The drone, inspired by a giant sea devil, will need to perform long-range missions in the ocean environment without the need for logistical support, guidance, or manual control. The task of creating a drone like this is not as simple as it may appear. These machines must have complete autonomy and decision-making freedom to operate in a very hostile environment. For example, drones will have to be able to stop and recharge their batteries from sea currents or geothermal sources. They'll also need to be able to distinguish, mark, and avoid obstacles to avoid being trapped in crevices and sea cliffs or to avoid getting tangled in algae and so on. The manta ray drone is not ready yet, it's only a prototype, but in the future it will be able to operate in a stealth underwater world for a long time. Check out this stunning footage taken by an FPV drone that's completely unafraid of water. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and don't miss any new episodes from the world of high tech. Also, if you haven't done so already, be sure to check out our Instagram and other social network page, and you can find those links down in the description. The researchers at Oxford University and Google DeepMind released a study stating that advanced artificial intelligence could lead to catastrophic consequences for humanity, and they're calling it, well, here we go again. The article appeared in AI magazine, and it makes the following arguments. If we allow AI to seek its own ways to achieve its goals, it will seek rewards rather than the good of mankind. According to the authors, things will quickly go wrong as designed by humans and, quote, a sufficiently advanced artificial intelligence is likely to interfere with its own provision of target information with disastrous consequences for humanity. The first sign of danger, according to the article, would be the artificial intelligence's ability to beat humans at any game. Then, the researchers say, catastrophic consequences are not just possible, they are quite probable. We've already talked about this in detail, what levels of AI exist and what they can do, and you can check that out right here at the link and post the comments down below. What's your predictions about AI with our future? And to keep us from guessing about the impending threat, scientists have taught the robots to laugh, which is known to inspire trust and sympathy. Engineers from Kyoto University in Japan trained the humanoid robot Erica to laugh naturally. They developed an algorithm that will allow the robot to demonstrate empathy through appropriate laughter. To gather a database for the training, the researchers conducted about 100 rapid student dates with the droid, which was remotely controlled in different actresses. They then isolated the laughter and divided it into categories: solo, social, and hilarious. Using this data, they trained the robot and tested it in action. It should be noted, it's only in Japanese, so we can't quite tell how natural this sounds. Robots never cease to amaze. In Los Angeles recently, a robot calmly drove right through a crime scene in front of surprised police officers. In defense of the robot, you can say that he had an important job. He was taking someone's food. Now the delivery man from Serve Robotics has become world famous. The Mars rover Perseverance found the largest accumulation of organics on Mars ever discovered on the red planet. Many organic molecules containing carbon were found in samples collected from a river delta in the Izero crater, where there was once a very large lake. The finds suggest that this location could have potentially been a livable environment about 3.5 billion years ago. NASA also recently shared the most detailed Martian panorama ever captured on a rover. MIT researchers have developed cell-sizing cyborgs. They can infiltrate living cells and transmit data about their positions and the state of the cell itself. The sub-millimeter-sized micro-robot is controlled by an external magnetic field and transmits signals wirelessly. The technology, called Cell Rover by researchers, is the first demonstration of an antenna that can work inside a cell and is compatible with biological living systems. Previously, this was not possible because the antenna was too small for long electromagnetic waves, and short, high-frequency waves would destroy the cells. So scientists had to solve the problem. They created an antenna that converts electromagnetic waves into acoustic waves whose wavelength is 5 orders of magnitude shorter than electromagnetic waves. The cell rover can track cell development by detecting various chemicals and biomolecules such as enzymes, registering physical changes such as cellular pressure, all in real time and in vivo. The possibilities of this tech are promising. What do you think? Industrial designer Oscar Vanals has unveiled a concept for real flying castles, a multi-story supersonic passenger airline called Hyper-Shaped Plane Magnavem. The 70-meter plane, weighing almost 600 tons, will be equipped with compact nuclear reactors, 4 massive electric hydrogen engines, and 2 ramjet engines. They allow it to reach supersonic speeds of up to 1,850 km per hour at altitudes of 15.5 kilometers. The seating capacity of this beast is 500 passengers. Moreover, there's also VIP seating for different categories, a super tour with large personal space, first class and business class with stunning views and all kinds of amenities. And experts have a lot of questions about this concept. For example, how will it provide travel stability, controllability, and vertical balancing without a tail? Or how do the cabin doors located at this angle will function? And what about the airfields, and how do they function? We like the concept in terms of comfort, but as far as functionality, we'll wait and see. Undefined Technologies presented the first drone powered by an ion engine and showed it flying. The Silent Ventus drone rises into the air not by propellers, but by generating a powerful electric field between 4 arrays of electrodes that ionizes the air and accelerates ions to create lifting power. Ion engines are used in space and small ground projects. They're silent, but the thrust is also small. To increase it, the company is developing the air tantrum technology, which, according to them, is 150% more effective than existing ones. During recent tests, the Silent Ventus was able to stay in the air for 4.5 minutes. The noise level during this time was lower than 75 dB, and by the end of 2023, Undefined Technologies expects their drone to fly for 15 minutes at a lower 70 dB, though only with sufficient investments for the project. The researchers over at Cornell University have developed tiny brains for autonomous micro-robots. Robots ranging in size from 100 to 250 microns run on solar power, which means they don't need external devices to move around. And the bot's brains are a complementary metal oxide semiconductor structure, or CMOS for short. It contains 1,000 transistors and an array of diodes, resistors, and capacitors. The integrated CMOS circuit generates a signal that's a series of rectangular waves. They set the robot's gait. The legs of the robot are platinum-based actuators, and both the circuit and the legs are powered by photovoltaic cells. To demonstrate the system's capabilities, scientists assembled 3 experimental robots, a 2-legged creature, a 4-legged dog, and a 6-legged ant. All of the devices were successfully tested, and yes, they're not the first microbots we're telling you about, but they're probably the closest to becoming useful and finding practical applications in the human and beyond. The third Mariner drone has entered service with the U.S. Navy. The optionally manned autonomous Overlord, named Mariner, is equipped with a troop control system, virtual Aegis system, and an autonomous navigation system. Aegis is responsible for the ability to control another surface drone and address its payload. Mariner can operate in 3 modes: controlled manually, by a remote operator, or act on a preset program. It will compete with its sister ships, the Nomad and Ranger. The United States expects to have 150 surface drones and payloads in service by 2045, which has not yet been determined. A number of experts believe it will be primarily a missile weapon system. The automobile startup Aptera Motors presented a 3-wheeled solar-power electric car. The 2-seat Gamma car can cover up to 65 kilometers a day without recharging, but in the future the developers hope to increase the range of up to 1,600 kilometers due to efficient powertrain, aerodynamic design, and the use of lightweight composite materials. The interior of the electric car of the future includes a central display for controlling the car, multimedia and navigational digital cameras. The cameras replace the rearview mirror and complement the side mirrors. Interestingly, the developers of the car don't mention anything about driverless technology, and the interior shows a steering wheel. Gamma Prototypes is already being tested on roads, and the car is expected to go into production next year, with the company having already over 30,000 pre-orders. I hope it all comes true, as Gamma's creators have been working towards this for 15 years. Japan's aerospace has enlisted Honda Motor to help Toyota Motor design and build a lunar rover. It should go to our satellite already in 2029, so you can say the deadline is tight. The rover will be powered by a hydrogen fuel cell and have a range of 1,000 kilometers. It's just for the development of power plants on hydrogen fuel cells and attracted Honda, whose engineers are already familiar with these technologies. The general design of the lunar car remains for Toyota. The hydrogen engine will need a lot of oxygen to move a two-seater around the moon, so there's going to be 2 gas cylinders on board which require a large volume. On the other hand, to send the rover into space, it's necessary to make it as light and compact as possible. So far, the length is no more than 2 minibuses. But I think 2 giants like Honda and Toyota should be able to come up with this. The researchers from LEAP Team trained animal robot to jump over the moon, dig trenches with its legs, turn over boulders, and take samples. The truth is, for now, in a simulation of the lunar surface on Earth. In the future, LEAP robots should go to explore hard-to-reach Aristarchus Plateau. The animal are trained with artificial intelligence and specially adapted to the lunar environment. European Large Logistics Landing Module, which is scheduled to land on the moon several times between the late 2020s and early 2030s, will deliver the robots to Earth's satellite, Antibiotics. We love the fact that so many robots are being built to explore neighboring planets and satellites. Meanwhile, the German Artificial Intelligence Center is training a robot spider to traverse steep slopes of lunar craters. So far, of course, in makeshift craters. There's also no word on when the autonomous non-wheeled rover will set out to explore the planets or what missions it will take part in. But we hope that sooner or later the robots will go into space and get where wheeled rovers can't get to. Boston Dynamics recently posted a video of a Boston Dynamics engineer answering questions about robotics, and there were 2 interesting moments. The first was Robot Spot playing the tune Happy Birthday to You on a paper keyboard. In the video, the company's engineers confirmed that the robot still needs to be programmed for such tasks, but it doesn't have its own AI. And the second is the chic print on the developer's t-shirt. We've been kicking around the idea of making our own merch. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Your opinion actually matters to us. And if there's a demand, we're going to make some Pro Robots merch. SpaceX tested Starlink on a JSX passenger plane with journalists on board. Starlink's data transfer rate consistently exceeded 100 Mbps. There was about a dozen people and additional services on board, simulating a system load of 20 to 30 people. By comparison, the data transfer rate aboard American Airlines Airbus with Viasat equipment and more than 100 passengers is about 2.2 megabytes per second. SpaceX also announced that Starlink Internet appeared in Antarctica. At least broadband satellite access appeared at the American Antarctic Station McMurdo, one of the most secluded human settlements on Earth. After installing a terminal at the station, Starlink is now officially present on all 6 continents. Remember, the company has already put 3,200 satellites into orbit out of a planned 12,000. Over on Kickstarter, there's a new robot pet. Meet Luna. It looks pretty cute. The developers promise an intelligent and intuitive pet that will be the buyer's best friend. In fact, it's more like a nice robotic toy. And yet, the world practice shows that people tend to endow robots with qualities they don't have if they're able to imitate emotions. And this has already happened with Jibo robots, whose disabling caused a real sense of loss for many home robot owners. Even robot vacuum cleaners that can do their own work often cause a sense of emotion with their owners. Have you ever felt sympathy for a robot? Let us know down in the comments. While you're here, subscribe to the Pro Robots channel. Join us over on Instagram, where we always publish the most interesting robotic news.